Well, first off, my name is Christopher Tews. I'm Executive Vice President of AMA at UCF, and I'm doing a quick brand new presentation on business cards and how to be a student and say, hey, I go to UCF, I need to get hired, but how do you professionally put that when you can hand it to people with confidence? And that's what this is all about. Now, me personally, when I started, as I was previously saying before this recording, that I only finalized my business card sometime recently. And when I say finalized, it's not really done. It never really is. A business card is meant to go sort of with your elevator pitch or your 60-second sell. So when you're done speaking with people, you're able to then hand them the card that sort of benefits what you've previously spoken about. And as you go through your career, as you go through your college, it's always being adjusted. You're always talking about something different. So you want to update the card with the most relevant information. Or if you're really that good, keep the same 60-second spell or 60-second sell, elevator pitch, and then you can keep the same card. So first off, what's the benefit? The benefit of a card, most obvious, it keeps you memorable. Now, you're literally taking something from your pocket and giving it to your potential recruiter for them to keep it in their pocket as well. Like I mentioned, it's to follow up a certain presentation you're giving, whether it's a real quick one or it's a long one and people want to get to know you after the fact. There's a lot of risks that can be taken with making a business card, and I'm going to get into those with what can be added and what not. But right now, just make sure that whatever you make is memorable. This whole presentation is to make sure that you guys have inspiration on creating one. I had a tough time. I'm not that great. I'm not that, what's the word I'm looking for? Creative, I guess. So it's not often that I get some inspiration on making a card or being able to design something properly. And I feel like going through a presentation like this will hopefully give you the inspiration you'll need to start off. The second benefit you can get is creating your own story. It's a follow-up. It's meant to keep them going. It's meant to keep them interested. When you have control of your story, you're able to show who you are, what you stand for, how they're going to keep you memorable, which goes hand in hand with number one. I think the biggest benefit of a business card that a lot of people skip on or don't think about is that it gives you confidence. A big part, at least for me, when I'm speaking with different recruiters or talking to someone, and I know at the end of it, they're going to go, hey, how can I connect with you? Sure, I'm very confident in giving a resume, but everybody gives them a resume. I'm more confident in the fact that I'm able to give them a business card, and I know that when they look to contact me, they're going to have that literally in their pocket to reach out to me. And that's a huge confidence booster. It really helps you before the conversation, during the conversation, and after the fact. Knowing that you will always be able to give them a follow-up. Whether they want to give you a call or not is up to them, but at least you've given them that opportunity. Right now, I have two sort of mock business cards that I actually borrowed from Canva. I'm going to be explaining a real quick idea of what Canva is and how to go about making business cards on it. But what I have here is actually my least favorite business card I found and my favorite business card I found. My least favorite is Epic Tunes by Takahiro, the Ultimate Beat Dropper. He's a DJ, or hypothetical. I don't think this guy exists, but he's a DJ. And the big part is he doesn't say that anywhere in the card. I don't even get his full name. I just get his tag. I don't know who he is. I only have a general idea of what he does, and he hasn't given me much other than those sound waves. As creative as they look, I wouldn't even know he's a DJ. I would think maybe he just works in the music studios. I'm not too sure exactly what he does. Now, with Bartholomew Henderson's card, it's really simple. He's a filmmaker, a screenwriter, an editor. He gives you his name. He gives you a simple look into the background of a camera, so I already know where to start on the thought of who he is, and he's already told me what he likes to do. And that's the things you have to think about. Sure, a design might be really nice, and you might look at it and think, wow, that looks great. That's super creative. It's really artistic. But if the person, the recruiter that you're giving this to, doesn't understand what you're handing them, then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Now, this is my business card. Please give me as much criticism as you want on it. But what I'm looking at right now is simply putting my name, who I pretty much relate with. So I have the executive vice president of American Marketing Association at UCF, my contact info. I have a quote there, and I'm going to get into the use of the quote soon enough. And then on the back, I kept it simple. I'm a marketing major. I have an international business minor, and I host a podcast. Now, hosting a podcast is a slight risk. The reason being, it's a podcast. Sometimes the recruiters I'm looking for don't care for this. Sometimes they'll listen to it and might not even like it. And even myself, I only recently solidified the fact that I want it on there. Why? It's a big part of my life. It's a hobby. It's my biggest hobby, if anything, that I really like to promote and talk about. I'm actually a little shy about it sometimes, but when the conversation gets flowing, I do enjoy talking about it. Now, the necessities of making a business card. It's three things. It's very simple. You just need your full name, your job title, your contact info. Grant, nicest guy ever. He's the president of AMA, was kind enough to lend me his business card to show off here. And it's important to show that on the back half of it, he follows that exact route. He just shows his name. He goes to UCF and he's a marketing student, and he has his contact information. That's what recruiters want. You know that if you have these three things, that's the most important thing they can need out of a card. Everything else is filler or a little bit extra flair. But right now and then, the necessities are what you need, and that's the key to making whatever you want to portray. Now, I think some UCF classes might recommend that you have a logo, or at least design some form of logo. Now, I personally find that in additions. I see that as a nice addition to add to your business card. Now, if it's required, make it, do it. Of course, I'm not telling you not to. But Sean Barkin, a previous president of AMA at UCF, lent me his card, and you can see his simple logo, just SB, his initials. You're going to see that a couple times. Grant had done the same thing with GS. And logos aren't really that big of a risk. You do them, they look nice, simple enough. Nobody's going to go out there and, well, on purpose, release a bad-looking logo. Now, a tagline or quote is really important. As you saw with my previous business card and with Sean's here, where we are what we repeatedly do, therefore excellence is not an act, but a habit, this is really important. Now, you can put a tagline or a quote in these cards and think that it means a lot. But if you don't mention these quotes and give descriptions and an explanation as to why this matters to you while you're speaking with the recruiter, then it's just filler. Then it means nothing. So it's slightly a double-edged sword. You have to make sure that if you put this in your card, you have to apply it when you're speaking with the recruiter. And that's something that a lot of people miss. They might like a quote, they might have a reason for it, but if you don't bring it up with them and you give no explanation, it means nothing. It's just there. It's just a quote that is nice, but how does it apply to you? Now, website and social media links are also different. We saw that Grant actually had, we saw that Grant had used his Instagram on the bottom of his contact information. And a big part of it is that he's into digital media marketing. So if you're into digital media marketing, I'm sure he's proud of what he's made and puts it on his Instagram. So he wants people to go take a look at it. Me, if I'm looking into advertising, I'm not really putting my Instagram on there. Not that I'm not proud of the stuff I put on, but it doesn't apply to what I'm trying to get into recruiting. So it's a big part. You have to think about it. And that's where the business card adjustments always be made. Sometimes you might make one with your social media links. Sometimes you won't. And it's that balancing act you have to manage. LinkedIn is perfect middleman. You can put a LinkedIn in there. I even recommend putting the LinkedIn in there because you want to make sure that you're showing that you're professional. You're on there. They can connect with you. It's a simple link, and you can even use a QR code to get people to that website. So it's what you want, what you need. And I think nice additions are great, but there are some risks involved, and you have to be careful of what you put in there. Now, a big part is I've been talking about a lot of things you can add, throw in, do what you want. Do not be afraid to leave blank space. I think the official term is called white space or something. I'm not too sure on it myself, but you can see here Skylar, another member of AMA, lent me hers. It's really simple. She has her logo, her name, on the back, contact information. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, that might not be enough information, but I think it's just the right amount because the purple really helps sort of make the card pop out. And if there were too many words in there, it would just look like a mess. And it's nice. It's perfectly designed to showcase what it needs to. So always use the three things. You have your full name, you have your contact information, and your job title. And those three are essentially all you need. If you just have those three, again, sometimes that's it. Sometimes it's all you're going to have to use because that's what they're going to look for when they want to contact you. Now, Kyle Schofield, our previous president of AMA, again, I got a lot of these sort of sent to me, but I think it's really good for those that don't know where to go. They can look at these. We're especially recording this for YouTube, so please go back. You're going to be able to use these examples if you like. I'm not saying copy them, but use them for inspiration. Kyle does a great job of managing between both using a lot of space and not using, and using a little bit of space. He manages them perfectly. On the front side is his information. Right there, simple enough. He even includes his own personal website because he's proud to show about what he's made and he created it. And then he's also got his LinkedIn in there, not to mention his email and his other contact information like his phone number. Plus, it's simple. He's part of the professional selling program. He's a marketing major with a real estate minor. He wants you to be able to get that information, and I'm sure he speaks about it within his pitch. But you know what I'm positive he probably speaks about? The Secret of Getting Ahead is Getting Started by Mark Twain. That is it. That's all he has on one side. It might look like a little bit of information, but if he's able to give that explanation, give all the information he needs right there for that quote to the recruiter, then when they see this card, they'll remember what he said. And that's a key part of staying memorable, of creating your own story, is that when you're able to put these things together and then hand them the card at the end, you are darn confident that they will remember you when they read that quote. And that's what matters. So where can you create them? If you've been listening to this presentation, you're thinking, well, that's all neat, but I don't really know what to do. Well, as I mentioned before, you have Canva. A lot of people know what Canva is. It's a designing studio. It's free to use. You can go in there, sort of create what you want. And they have a lot of different templates for creating your own business cards. I have a couple here that I borrowed off of there just to show you sort of the different ideas. It's really simple. You go through there, you're able to make your own. But if you want to print them, I know there's a lot of different printing sites and a lot of different ways to go about it. My recommendation is Vistaprint. And the reason for it is they offer, I think I'm showing 4 here, they offer way more than 4 different styles of cards to be printed. If we like, I can pull those up later sort of on their website, but it's really simple. Where Vistaprint, you go through them. They even have their own designing studio as well, so you can go in there and create your card. I recommend going through Canva, sort of creating the general idea of what you have, and then when you like it, go into Vistaprint, actually see if you can copy it through their design. Just sort of bring it over there, because if you can make some adjustments, maybe it works better on Vistaprint than it does on Canva. It's sort of doing that double take on your card and your ideas of what you like, and then you're able to print it through them. And there's nothing nicer than getting that pack of cards and going, wow, I made these the linen style. Granted, as a business student, I don't know why you'd make them linen, but if it goes with, maybe you have a yarn on your picture and you want it to stand out, it would work out. So it's really neat. It's all about creating your story, and it's really helpful in making yourself stand out. Like I mentioned, this is a fast presentation. It's business cards. I don't have too much to go on with it. At the end of the day, the 3 things: your name, your job title, and your contact information. So thank you for having me. I think Grant would probably want to mention at least some of the other stuff that we're doing with AMA this summer or this upcoming fall, and I'm going to pass it off to him.
Chris, thank you so much for giving that awesome presentation. You absolutely killed it. I don't know if you practiced a lot beforehand, but that was awesome, man. Good job.
Thank you. I'm hoping this was the way that I went through making my own business card. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to help others as well.
Yeah, that really helped. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great. I got a lot of notes on it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I know I can ramble on a lot too, but I really hope that my rambling will lead to some helpful notes and helpful ways of going about making your own business cards and standing out. Because like I said, it's the 3 main things. So that's what I think matters. But,
so then in terms of upcoming AMA events, next week, July 16th, around 6 p.m., we plan on hosting an AMA Jeopardy event. So that'll be fun, doing some fun marketing-related trivia. So definitely look forward to seeing you there. And then one little quick tip about business cards as well is I was talking with the Dean of the Honors College today, and I mentioned how we're doing this event tonight. She had said that a really cool idea is taking all of the business cards that you have, that you've made up until your current career. And pretty much it kind of shows a progression. So from the business card that you first made to the business cards that the company starts making for you as you transition to different careers, it's just a really cool thing that you're able to do. It feels nice, make a board out of it and everything.
That would be pretty nice. It's a good way of looking at sort of the growth throughout a career, and then being able to see the differences between what you think is relevant when you're speaking to someone compared to what may not be relevant anymore, what sort of you used in the past but might not have to anymore.